So super pumped, guys. We got Caleb Maddix on today, an amazing individual, a 14-year-old speaker, author. I've actually got your book here, bro. Boom.
There it is.
Keys to Success for Kids, and an entrepreneur. So Caleb runs a six-figure business right now at the age of 14, which is remarkable. But the thing that I respect most about Caleb is his pure authenticity. There's a lot of people out there in the space, but there are not many people who hold true to values of wanting to give back, live authentically, and inspire others. And you've been able to do all that at your young age. So I'm super excited to talk through not just the big successes that you've had so far, but also the struggle that it's taken to get there, man. So got a few questions, but first and foremost, how was your 4th of July? I saw you and your dad enjoying the fireworks, and how was it, man?
I mean, it was a blast. 4th of July is probably my dad's favorite holiday. So I kind of just do whatever he wants to do on 4th of July. So we had fun. I love watching my dad watch the fireworks. I love watching the fireworks, seeing everybody's reactions. It was really great. But, dude, I'm just excited to be on this podcast. This is a holiday in itself, me being on this show. So I'm pumped up.
Hell yeah, man. I just got back from New Zealand interviewing Dr. John Demartini, and one of his key messages is make your vocation your vacation. So to hear that right there is just smacking down on that truth bomb. So awesome, man. So first question to kick us off today is, I want to know, you're 14 years old, you've got a six-figure business right now, which is amazing. Congratulations, epically well deserved. I want to know, what age did you start hustling at, bro? And what did you have to sacrifice on the journey? I know as well as you do that it's not sacrifice when you love it, but just to kind of tell the guys that are watching along that want to be successful, that might have started a business or looking to start a business, you've had to sacrifice some things that other people might kind of just, I know I've seen you sometimes on your Snap say, look, I got my mates that are having fun today and I'm here hustling on sales calls. I've had my fair share of hustle as well. So what age did you start hustling at? What have you had to sacrifice on that journey?
I mean, I've been hustling since I was really young. I'm a natural-born hustler and entrepreneur. Even whenever I was 4 years old, I was constantly trying to sell stuff to all of my friends. I mean, I would sell them, I'd say, how much do you want to pay for this water? That's what my dad used to always say that I used to do. It was like, I was a salesman at heart. Even whenever I was 6 years old, I was, whenever I went to school, I would sell erasers with logos on them to the kids in my school. And I was making like maybe $20 a week as a 6-year-old. So like I'm a natural born hustler, natural born entrepreneur. And really when I got my official start on entrepreneurship, I was about 12 years old. And I went up to my dad and I said, Dad, I want to write a book. And he said, he said, what do you want the book to be about? We had a quick conversation and he said, do it. And I was like, so when should I do it? He said, just take action. Just do it right now. So I literally went into my room. I started typing. I got the book done within a week. And then I had the book out within a month. And actually, my book went out 2 years ago to this date. It got published and all that cool stuff. So, or actually 2 days ago. It was on July 4th that I published it 2 years ago.
Wow.
And literally, as soon as the book came out, I hit the streets. I was selling. I remember, I sold every single day for an entire 2 months straight. And I made maybe 10, 20 grand in that amount of time. And I remember times where I would be selling scorching hot, sweating, and then somebody would tell me, and then I would get a text from my friends like, hey, I'm fishing or I'm bowling or I'm hanging out with my girlfriend or whatever they were doing. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, in this moment, it's probably a lot better to be in their shoes. but whenever I'm 20 years old, I can't wait to see the result. Because like they always say, if it takes doing what others don't to get the life that others don't have. And I think that's something that I've always lived by. So, I mean, guys, it is sacrifice. There's times where I had to miss out on my friend's birthday parties because I had a speaking event. There's times where I had to miss out on, parties because I was out there hustling. There's times where, my friends wanted to play video games, but I couldn't. Because when they were riding their scooter, I was writing a book. When they were playing video games, I was reading. When they were doing that stuff, I was hustling. And it's paid off now. My life is so amazing. I've been to Australia, London, New York City, LA. Went to LA 6 times in January alone. So it's an amazing life, but it took sacrifice along the way.
Awesome to know, man. And I love the fact that you tell the story of your dad saying, just write it today, not tomorrow. You've got an idea. Let's just get it done. and then following it up with that certain amount of hustle to get it done by going out and going door to door. Was it door to door?
I went door to door, and I also
Yeah.
went out, because we live in a semi-big city in Tampa.
Yeah.
So I also went out and sold, around the city.
Yeah, awesome. So cool little question that's a bit of a follow-up and a lead-in from that. When I got started in business, I left home in high school, didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I just know I wanted to do something bigger. I didn't know the vehicle, but I knew business was going to play a part. So what I did is I got the phone book out. I called all day, every day for 3 months in a row to build my first little 6-figure business selling websites to tradies. So what I find really interesting there is you're 14, I'm 24. So exactly 10 years older. A lot of people out there are thinking, man, you're only 24. And then they're on here going, what? This guy's 14, 10 years younger and thriving. But what I find really interesting is that link up between you started, a big part of your start in this space was by selling door to door. And for me, I went door to door as well, but I did a lot over the phone, cold calling. What do you think that sales experience, especially doing it cold, did for your character and your emotional strength?
I mean, it teaches you a lot of things. To be honest, I'm kind of shy at heart. I mean, whenever I was younger, if I went to shake your hand, I would kind of look down. I didn't like to meet that many people. I hated speaking in front of an audience. I mean, I remember there was a time that my dad made me speak, and for 2 hours straight, I asked him, please don't make me speak tonight. Please don't make me speak in front of this audience, because my dad's a speaker too. And he made me speak. Like he walked me up on stage, made me talk for 5 minutes. I talked, and then I went and hid underneath the table and cried for like 15 minutes after I was done because I thought I did so awful. But so that just shows you how shy I am. But, going out and doing that cold selling, that cold calling, because I do a lot of cold calls as well, doing that stuff really taught me the character of, social skills, communication skills, persuasion, selling, getting out of my comfort zone. I mean, my dad would make me go up to, really beautiful girls my age and sell them my book. Like, that's like most 14-year-olds, they don't want to go sell a book to a beautiful girl, So like he made me do that. Like he always was pushing me out of my comfort zone. And it taught me that character. But most importantly, it taught me to sell. And I believe that every single person that's watching this, every single person alive is a salesman. No matter what they want, they have to sell their way to get it. And it just taught me those skills at a young age.
Because everything in life is selling, right? Whether you're going up to a pretty girl and you're speaking to her, whether you're going and speaking with family, whether it's business, you're always selling yourself, selling a vision, selling love, selling an emotion. So that's amazing, man. I really love that. So thank you for sharing. And I liken that journey so similar to myself. When I was in primary school, I had a bit of a rough upbringing with a drug abusive family. So I was very, very sheltered early on. And when I first started going to primary school, I would just scream and cry because I didn't want to go. And my mum would have to, I would literally be latched onto my mum, and the principal would have to drag me off her to get me to go to school. So it's so funny that, I equally had a very nerve-wracking upbringing, hated public speaking, but it just goes to show with your story, man, that it doesn't matter whether you feel like you're someone that lacks confidence at any point. All these things are skills that get developed by going outside your comfort zone, and absolutely love that, man. Thank you for sharing. So I'd love for you to share with the listeners what you would consider to be the most painful experience of failure to date on your amazing journey to success at this young age. What do you think is kind of like something that sticks in your mind that was really painful but actually led to something amazing?
I probably lost about $100,000 for a sale because I wasn't that focused. I got this opportunity that was probably worth $100,000. I could have made that much money. That's more than most adults make during their entire year. Like that's what they strive for, is 6 figures. And I lost out on that deal because I had this opportunity, but I took it so lightly. Like I was like, because it was like I'm having all this momentum now as a 14-year-old, getting all this stuff, all this amazing accomplishments, and all of my work is paying off. And there's one really amazing opportunity. I got it, but it took me taking some action, and I kind of lacked taking action on that thing. And it literally, it took my breath away for for probably 2 to 3 weeks. I literally, I stopped working hard because I was so disappointed in this $100,000 sale that I lost because I took the opportunity lightly and didn't take action on it. And, you know, the lesson that I learned from it is I believe that poor is this. It's passing over opportunities repeatedly. That's what poor stands for. POR, passing over opportunities repeatedly. And I truly believe that that's why most people are poor, is because they get an opportunity to do something, but their fear or their lack of action or something takes that away. So I learned whatever opportunity that I get, I say yes to, whether it's big or whether it's small. If I get an opportunity to speak, unless of course it's not, you know, in my demographic, or, you know, they're not willing to pay the fee that I have, of course, stuff like that. But like, I don't pass up on opportunities. And Jim Carrey, the highest paid actor right now in all of the world, the way that he got his start is for 10 years, he was like homeless. He was literally homeless. But the way that he got to be the highest paid actor is he became a yes man, is what he calls it. And he says yes to every single opportunity. For 10 years straight, he said yes to every single opportunity. And now it's led to all these blockbuster movies, all this money, because every single opportunity he got, he took action on it. So that was the big failure that I had, a loss of 100 grand. But I know that learning that young is probably going to get me an extra 10 to $100 million whenever I'm an adult. So that was a huge failure of mine, but I learned a lot from it.
So it was worth the loss for an extra 10 to $100 million. Amazing, man. Your videos just popped off there, and it is back. Boom. We're back in action. You can still hear me clearly, man?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Let's keep going. Thank you for that. And I'm not sure whether you've seen this really, really cool video of Jim Carrey on Oprah, and he's discussing this amazing point in his life where he's got this check, and he was had his beaten down car, and he used to literally drive in LA outside the mansions and look at them and look at this check that he had for $1 million, being in this bomb of a car, not knowing where it was going to come from, just having faith. And like you said, putting in the work, saying yes to opportunities, working his ass off with comedic shows, trying to make it as an actor. And literally, I think it was 2 years, he had the exact date written on the check. And then he got the approval to do The Mask, the movie The Mask. And when that came through, the amount that he had written on the check, his fee for that movie was just over $1 million.
Yeah.
It was exactly that. So he was practicing all the person. It's funny because you look at Jim Carrey and he looks like just a clown. He's absolutely hilarious, but he practices this stuff. He does the work and he does the right thing. So real cool, man.
Well, the cool part about that story, and I watched that on Oprah, and it's one of my favorite stories, about that check. But the cool part is he practiced two very important laws. He practiced the law of attraction, and then he also practiced the law of action. And, a lot of people are missing both of those. Like they have one, but they don't have the other. And that's like they either really believe that they can get it, but they're not taking action, or they're taking a lot of action, but they truly deep down don't believe that they can get it. And I think, it's super cool to see that he had this law of attraction, that he was going to, make this amount of money. He wrote it down on a check. But not only that, but he followed it up with action, taking every single opportunity, working hard, practicing those lines, meeting people, networking. I think it's a very powerful thing that a lot of people need to do, is the law of attraction followed up with the law of action.
Definitely, man. And there's like 3 things that I love to talk about with success in business. Focus, action, certainty, or FAC. It's like focus, you got to have one thing. I love when I saw one of your videos that you broke down money into taking the first and last letter, making it mine, and the middle 3 letters, one, my one. What's that one thing you're focusing on?
Yeah.
I suffered big time through lack of focus, destroyed my success. I had 5 businesses going at once, absolutely destroyed the rate at which I was able to succeed because I didn't get the chance to build momentum, etc. Action, the on the business growth activities are going to drive it forwards. Marketing, sales, hiring, systems, thought leadership, all those things are going to drive it forwards as opposed to keep it going. And then certainly you need to not only back the fact that every time you get on a call like this, you're rocking up certain. You know you're going to rock it out. You're committing 100%, whether you're doing a video or a keynote. Your certainty's there, but also you've got certainty that you're not going to drop. You're not going to stop because this is your path and you're going to stay on it forever. So it's like macro and micro certainty.
I love that.
It's awesome, man.
That's some good stuff right there. And go back real quick to which, by the way, I love that. That's some really good stuff. I love the fact part about it too. But go back to focus. I did that video on Facebook. It was actually from my Snapchat story, which, by the way, don't forget to add me on Snapchat if you're watching this, at Maddix 13. Cool. But I did this Snapchat story where I was talking about my one. that's the key to making money. It has like 400,000 views on Facebook right now from my Snapchat story that I did that. But it's such a true thing. Like, I have a similar story as you at 5 businesses. I remember I did an interview with Grant Cardone on Power Players. And I know, which by the way, congrats on doing it, about to do an upcoming interview with him. I can't wait to watch
man.
that.
Appreciate that.
But I was doing an interview with him, and during the interview, I told him that I had 7 streams of income. Because at the time I did. I said, Uncle G, I have 7 streams of income. And I was expecting for him to say, man, that's absolutely awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's cool. But to be honest, he didn't really show that much enthusiasm about it. And as soon as the interview was done, we went into his office. We chatted for like 50 to 60 minutes. And I said to him, I was like, Uncle G, you didn't go that nuts about my 7 streams of income. And he said, and he told me this. He said, Caleb, a stream of income is something that is flowing without you even having to do any work. So what he meant is, it's like something it's like a river, right? That's what a stream is. It's a river. A river, you don't have to push the water for it to move. You don't have to dump more water in. It flows by itself. And so what Grant told me is, he said, you're better off having 1 stream of income and working on that thing so tirelessly until that thing is making millions of dollars a month without you touching it, and then moving on to your second stream. So he said, Caleb, you're better off having 1 stream that you're putting all your focus into rather than 7. And that's something that I did, is I had all these streams of income, all these ways that I was making money, and I wasn't focused, but I put my attention into one of those streams. And because of that, I've made 6 figures in the last 6 months off of that stream. So it's just a very powerful thing that if I was an entrepreneur, I would narrow down to what's my one thing. What's that one thing? Like, nobody's won a gold medal in 2 sports for the Olympics. There may have been 1 or 2, but it's very rare for that to happen. So go all in on that one thing, that one gold medal that you want to win.
It's so this is underrated as well. Like, there's entrepreneurs watching that are like, yeah, but I see Richard Branson, he's got 200 things. People don't realize that Richard Branson hammered Virgin Records for 10 years before he, went on to something else. Just a fun fact.
Exactly.
The second business he launched, he invested in a gay nightclub called Heaven in London, which is a bit of a random second venture for Mr.
Fun
Branson.
fact.
But he hammered it for 10 years. And I used to look at him going, yeah, I'm doing what Branson did, but you're right. They were not streams of income. They were, 5 jobs or 7 jobs as opposed to actually having them flow. So, boom.
And one last story before we move on to the next question, because I really want to get this point home, is Steve Jobs took over Pixar during that little window, and he basically revamped it, which a lot of people don't even talk about. Steve Jobs did such a great job with Pixar, and really is probably the reason they just talk about Apple, which is well-deserved because Apple's amazing. But, which, by the way, you're not an entrepreneur unless you have an iPhone. iPhone's the only way to go. But what do you have? What do you have, Ryan? You got an iPhone? There we go. But anyways, Steve Jobs, that was like, we just went off topic. But Steve Jobs took over Pixar for a little bit. And Pixar was putting out 10 to 20 movies a year, or forget how many they were. And Steve Jobs decided, I'm only going to put out 1 movie a year. And they've done that. And now Pixar is this amazing company because they went from producing all these movies to taking all that time they were producing on all these mediocre movies and putting it into one amazing movie. And they did that. And now you have Nemo, Toy Story, all these amazing movies, all off of that one focused thing.
All your favorite
So putting all of your attention into it. Yeah.
Mine too.
But you got to put all of your attention onto one thing as an entrepreneur.
Definitely, man. Thank you for the story. It was a great story. All right, cool. So one thing that I know that a lot of entrepreneurs shy away from in pursuit of success is failure. And obviously to succeed, you've got to fail. And if you've got a negative attachment to failure on a micro scale, then you are going to succeed on a macro scale. So I want you to tell the guys about how many failures do you reckon you've had? How many rejections do you think you've had so far with your short period, your amazing window of success going door to door? How many times do you reckon you've been rejected so far? And what do you think that is? How do you think that's linked to your level of success at the moment?
So listen, I'm 14 years old. You might say, oh, this kid's 14. He's never had a failure in his life. But if you look at my life, I was just voted in the top 20 most motivational influencers on the planet. I made 6 figures in the last 6 months. I've written my own book, best-selling book. Started my own company. I've done interviews with Grant Cardone. I've been on national television, Gary Vaynerchuk. I've done interviews in Forbes, Huffington Post, Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc., all that stuff. I've had dozens of viral videos. I've had a lot of successes in my life that I'm very proud of. I really am. But the funny part is, what people don't realize is that I've literally, with all of those successes, I've had bigger and I've had more failures than I have had successes in my life. Like I said in the beginning of this show, yeah, I've made 6 figures in 6 months, but I also missed out on $100,000 extra dollars that I could have made. So it's like, for every single success that you have, I probably have had 2 failures. But people got to get their minds right about failure, their mind right about failures. Failures are a good thing. Failure is the sauce that gives success its flavor. And I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs do not understand, is you're not going to succeed without failure. Like, you are not. It's a pendulum ball. That's what it's like. It's like you hit success, or you have to hit failure before success is going to fly and you're going to be able to catch it. Like who's a real failure? This is my question. Who's a real failure? Somebody who's sitting on their deathbed, who's never failed, who feels like a failure, or somebody who's failed but has had massive success. So it's like you have 2 roads. What hurts more, the pain of failure or the pain of regret? Like, you're going to have to take risks as an entrepreneur. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You're going to have failure 90% of the time, but it's going to lead to success one way or the other. So why are you so nervous about it? Because so many people are not starting their business, or not writing that book, or not asking that girl out, or whatever it is, because they're afraid of that failure. Yet that's really what a real failure is. Because if you don't start that business, you may fail. But if you don't start that business, you're already guaranteed to fail. So get your mind right about failure. That's the message I try to deliver to entrepreneurs and to people in general.
Yeah, the reason that I brought this question up is because you've gone door to door, and if you want to guarantee failure, you go door to door. But
exactly,
I know that if you want to be successful on a macro level, meaning your whole business is successful, you have to be willing to fail more than anything on a micro scale. And so many people fear the micro rejections. Hey, I launched this campaign and it doesn't go how I want. Or I put this viral video out and it didn't go viral. Or I went door to door and someone told me no. But if you're not willing to fail on a micro scale, you can guarantee you fail on a macro scale. It is sure to happen, and that's the sure thing. So perfect. Thank you so much. Great answer, man. I want you to tell me.
That's true. I mean, like going back to the door to door real quick. Like, I've sold a lot of money doing door to door and cold calls, but I also had somebody slam the door in my face and tell me to commit suicide after I gave my pitch. Like, that's as real as it gets. Somebody telling you to commit suicide and slamming the door in your face. But yes, I've had that little failure, but I've had a lot of other successes going door to door as well. So it's that equal and opposite thing that you're going to have in entrepreneurship.
Good to see that guy was supporting the future generation.
Exactly.
Gee whiz. When I used to go door to door, I had this one guy that when I went into his office, I was talking with his receptionist, trying to get through the gatekeeper. Decision maker comes out, grabs me, like he's a pretty big guy and I was a bit younger then, literally manhandled me out, and I was so upset afterwards. And I remember just wanting to go home, and I was pushed on, got a bunch more sales through, and just felt awesome afterwards. So you have to be willing to go through that pain. I
love it. So
you come across as an extremely confident guy, as I do as well. But as we spoke about earlier, that's a condition. That's like a habit that we've built through resilience and hard work. I want you to talk real quickly about a time where you really, really struggled with confidence. And you wanted to show up, but you were, after you kind of got that level of confidence you have now, where you kind of maybe fell back, a little bit of a story around a time that you really struggled with confidence. And, how did you get past that? What can you teach the listeners about your level of confidence? How can they develop more confidence?
Yeah. So an opportunity that I actually lost out on was meeting Brendon Burchard. Brendon Burchard, he's a best-selling author, one of the best guys to listen to if you want advice. And I was at an event, and I had an opportunity to go up and meet him, but I kind of just got a little bit nervous, I'm not going to meet him. And for 30 minutes straight, I tried to talk I stepped forward like I'm going to go, and then I talked myself out of it for 30 minutes straight. And then eventually he had to leave. And I lost out. I met him eventually later on, a year or two later, but I lost out on the opportunity to meet him and maybe even get a great partnership and maybe do something amazing with him because I was shy. But something that I did, and it's really helped me, is understanding that confidence is an action more than it is even a feeling. You know what? Like something that Grant Cardone taught me whenever I was in his office, is he said, Caleb, anytime you're nervous to do a sale or to go up on stage or to meet somebody, do the 1, 2, 3 rule. And this is the rule. You count 1, 2, 3, and then you just go and do it. 1, 2, 3, and you go and do it. And I've been applying this rule, and it's funny because you think about it, we just talk ourselves out of stuff so much, but because we expect, oh, I don't feel like doing something. But like Tony Robbins says, you don't feel your way into action, you act your way into feeling. So sometimes you're not going to feel confident, but if you take confident action, you're going to feel confident. That's how our body works. It's weird how it works. Same thing with positivity. Sometimes you don't feel positive, but if you take a positive action, you're going to feel positive. So something that I do is anytime I'm not feeling confident, I immediately just I fix my posture. You know, I get pumped up. I kind of do a Rocky scene where I'm just jumping up and down, you know, like punching, and I get confident. Exactly. Like nobody's better than me in this moment. And of course, you know, you don't want that mindset all the time, like, you know, to be a super cocky guy.
It's not about arrogance. It's about owning yourself. Yeah, get it.
Exactly. So I'm like, dude, I'm, you know, whenever next time if I ever meet Tony Robbins, I'll probably mentally have the mindset of I'm on this guy's level. Like in 10 years, I'm going to be on his level. So like that's the mindset I have. And I've been using this 1, 2, 3 rule where I say 1, 2, 3. And I met Kevin Harrington maybe 3 or 4 months ago by doing this rule. I was a little bit nervous, not really that nervous anymore because I've met a bunch of successful people and you start to realize they're normal dudes. Yeah. But I counted 1, 2, 3, and I went and I met him. I shook his hand. I chatted with him. We got into a conversation. Next thing you know, he wanted to interview me on his show that he does. Next thing you know, he wanted to do an event with me, so we spoke together. Next thing you want to know, he wanted to do a business partnership. Next thing you know, he's an investor in my company. We're partnered up. We're going to be making millions of dollars together. We text each other all the time. We hang out. I hang out with him 6 times within 1 month. A while back, I think it was like maybe a month ago. So you know, it's all that one thing came from 1, 2, 3, and just making and understanding that confidence is an action more than it is a feeling, and that's how I got my confidence and I've learned to be a confident individual and not be shy.
That's ridiculous, that 1, 2, 3, because I literally have my own thing that's a 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't heard Grant talk about that surprisingly, but I literally do this thing where if I'm ever scared of something, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and when I hit 4, the rule is when you hit 4, it's an anchor, it's a repetition. You have to physically will yourself. So it usually looks something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, get the phone out, go into the dial pad, start dialing the number. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, step up off the couch, start walking to the wardrobe to change my clothes to go to the gym, or whatever it is. So I like that. It's just crazy. It's the exact same thing. Wow, that's just awesome.
And I like what you said. I like what you said about the anchor. I think that's a good way to look at it. It's like, imagine that it's gravity. Whatever you're afraid to do, once you hit 3, gravity just like throws you forward. Maybe that's a good mindset to have that'll make you do it even more. But yeah, it's a great rule.
Just move. It's the exact same thing you said. Act first, and then everything else will come. So the feelings, the emotions will come. So what I want to know from you, man, before we wrap this up with some rapid fire questions, has been awesome so far, by the way, is if you were to start from scratch again and you had to go all the way back to the beginning of when you started hustling, knowing what you know now though, if you had to 10x, like literally 10 times the level of success you've got at this point and achieve it in half the time, what would you do differently from a business strategy standpoint?
You know, that's a really, really great question. I'm not sure because I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. You know, I don't even know if I want the results half the time. But a
pre-frame, I know that you're happy with where you are now, man. And where you are now and all the painful experiences you've gone through that we've spent the whole discussion talking through, they're character building. And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be where you are now. But just hypothetically speaking, if you had to go back to that start of the hustle, and just for like a strategic standpoint, if you had to somehow 10x what you've done, knowing what you know now, like what would you do? Just list off some of the things. So the guys watching are like, holy crap, that's knowledge bomb. Go for it, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. One of the best questions I've had on an interview, because it really makes me think. One thing that I think I'd really do is, like I said before, during this interview, I said that I was very scattered. I had all these dreams and visions. I probably would have literally dropped everything and gone into one thing, picked my one thing that I have now, which is Kids for Success. And I would have gone into that one thing, and that would have been my only focus. Like, I would have knocked out everything else. If an interview didn't have to do somehow with growing my Kids for Success, I wouldn't have done it. If a speech didn't have to do with Kids for Success, I wouldn't have done it. If whatever it was, if it didn't help grow my company and what I was doing, I would not have done that. I think that's something that I really would have done, is pick what I want and go all in with that. I mean, my personal growth would have totally been, about how to help a kid get over suicide. I mean, I've helped 2 kids in the last 2 months get over committing suicide, and stop them from committing suicide. And the reason why is I've practiced that. I've learned and I've studied a lot of stuff, but I would have learned that earlier on. I would have learned how to get over bullying. I would have immerse my mind and immerse my actions into one thing. And I think that would have gotten everything that I've done quicker, and I would have way more results.
Awesome, man. Great answer. And it's funny because to me, I hear that and I'm just like, it's music to my ears. It's exactly what you need to do to grow fast. But it's so passive. It's like, it's not like more, it's like smarter. It's like choose your one again, which we reiterate. If you had to try to answer the question from more of a strategic standpoint as well, because you have approached a lot of thought leaders, which has led to opportunities and therefore help boost cash flow. You've done a lot of sales. Is there shifts in the time focus of what activities you put your effort into?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would have done, I did a lot of personal growth, but I would have done even more personal growth, because I think it's really about what you know. I really think it has a lot to do with it. Even more than just knowing the keys to success. I would have dug deeper into other stuff. I would have immersed myself into different topics a little bit more. So personal growth would have been something. I probably, to be honest, wouldn't have as many cheat meals as I've had. And I know that's how would that help you? But the amount of energy that food gets you, foods affect moods. I really believe that. So I would have completely maybe just gone all in with that eating. I would have
the funny thing is on that point, Caleb, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, man.
Go ahead.
When I interviewed Elliot Hulse, who's big thought leader in the fitness space, and Lewis Howes, who's all about business growth and success, both these guys, is the number one thing that they answered as their reason or their rituals to success, what led the most to their success, both said working out and their health. So it's underrated for people that don't have healthy diets. But when you do get in that routine and you're owning your nutrition and you're owning your fitness, you don't know until you've done it the difference it makes. So totally massive. I just want the guys watching to get that, because it's what you preach and it's just such a big point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to a guy, which, by the way, that's awesome that they both talked about that, and it brings me some insight, because I really believe that's one of the reasons why I'm successful.
It wasn't even just talk about it. It was the number one. It was above everything else. The one thing that they would put in there on their daily basis is workout. It was the biggest contributor to their success. Sorry, man.
Yeah,
keep going.
No. I love it. I think that's good stuff. I was talking to a guy who went to Tony Robbins' event in Dallas, Unleash the Power Within, and I asked him, what was the number one takeaway that you got? And I was thinking he was going to say something really deep about how to, I thought he was going to say something mental or something. He said the number one thing that he learned was it's all about eating. That was the number one thing that Tony Robbins taught him. I think that's such an important thing that success leaves clues. If you look at some of the most successful and most happy people on this planet, the majority of them are, work out and eat healthy. And you'll rarely meet somebody who works out and eats healthy. Of course, there's other stuff there's some anomalies that aren't happy, but you'll rarely meet somebody who works out and eats healthy who is not energetic and happy. That rarely happens. So I think that's a very important thing to do is, eating healthy. Foods affect moods.
100%. So I'm going to keep hammering on this one because I think you just drop a knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb. So let's keep it rolling. From a marketing and sales point of view or a business strategy point of view, what activities that you've executed on so far as a 12, 13, 14-year-old, what activities have you done that have made the biggest impact on your brand, on your growth, on your bottom line so far?
I'll give you the number one thing. Like, this is something that in 2016, if you listen to this and you don't take this advice, and you're like right now, if whoever's listening to this, if you don't take this advice, like, you don't deserve to call yourself an entrepreneur. I'm about to drop a massive knowledge bomb that has literally changed my social media and changed everything. Okay, here it is, all right? Facebook. Do minute-long videos with subtitles on them with really moving music. And I know you're probably thinking, that how does that make you go viral or whatever? That literally is the reason that I have 80,000 followers on my Facebook right now. I mean, I had 1,000 followers on my Facebook, I think 6 months ago, and in 6 months I've had 80,000. So that's a lot of new followers. But the reason why is I'm doing these 1 minute long videos with subtitles at the bottom that I edit in, and really moving music. And it's such a powerful thing because it does a couple different things. Number one is if it's a minute long, people have time to watch it.
So guys, we're back. Caleb just had a little bit of an issue with the internet going crazy. His phone ran out of battery, so he had to hustle a bunch to get a charger. Now he's been pinballing around and we're back. So Caleb, you were just wrapping up saying that the number one thing that people need to do in 2016 is 1 minute videos on Facebook. And this is a killer piece of advice because it's so specific, everyone can implement it. And you were just going through the 2 reasons why it's important. If you just pick up from there, that would be perfect, man.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a few reasons why it's important. The number one, like I said, is it's because it's short. I mean, people's attention span is crazy, but whenever they see, oh, this video is only a minute long, they want to click it. It's like, oh, I got 60 seconds of my day. So like my most viral videos, I've probably done minute-long videos. I probably had 4 that have 1 million views. I've had dozens and dozens that have had over 100,000 views. And literally, whenever I started doing this, my page had probably 10,000 likes on it. And I started doing this, and now I have 80,000 likes. And it's like, it's such a great thing that you notice a lot of viral videos, they have subtitles, they're short. But going back to the second reason why is with those subtitles, there's really 3 reasons why. The second reason is with those subtitles, it really communicates a clear message. I mean, if you look at Facebook and you scroll down your news feed, you'll notice that videos automatically play without you even clicking on them. So they'll automatically play. So if you have subtitles, people can actually watch your videos outside of the thing before they even click on it. So then when they click on it, they see it, and it's very more, it's clear with those subtitles. They get to read what you're saying. It's another way to basically communicate your message to the viewer. And the third reason why that's important is with the music is because I was talking to a guy who has the #1 most viewed video, motivational video on YouTube. And it has way more than 10 million views. It's crazy how many views it has. And I asked him how he did it. And he has this channel that has millions of subscribers. I said, how did you do that? And he said, Caleb, people are stupid. If you put in cool music, they will watch your video. And I know we don't really want to view our viewers as stupid, and they're really not stupid, but it's something as a human being that when you have music, it communicates more. And when you look at the Super Bowl, one of the biggest events, there's a halftime show. What do they do in between? Music. If you look at all these huge events, there's always music involved. You look at some of the most viewed videos, 90% of them have music. So music is very important. It'll move them. It'll captivate them more. It'll deliver the message. So minute-long videos is something that if you're an entrepreneur wanting to grow your social media, put up minute-long videos with subtitles that have a really great message, and then also add music in the background, kind of light. People go nuts about them, and they'll go viral 90% of the time.
Boom! Knowledge bombs right there. Because it's so specific. 10,000 likes to 80,000 likes just for this. All you have to do is act on it and get it done. So great little response there, and those reasons were perfect. Music moves the heart. You're right, it is in the Super Bowl. One thing that I think is really important to note there is you said people are stupid, and I'm not going to pick up. That's not you're pretty much saying that treat people as if they need to be given the basics, A, B, C, simple messaging, and things that create a massive impact with a short amount of time. And it's true. It's like you got to sell people what they want.
Let me reword this because I don't want anybody to get hurt by that. People aren't stupid. People are simple. People love simple, clear communication. So those are 3 ways to communicate your message. Music moves them. It makes them understand what the video is kind of about. The text makes them be able to see your voice, everything of the actual video is another way.
Totally. And same for me. If I see a message is too confusing, I just leave, especially on social. Because you're on social to be entertained, to be inspired.
Yeah.
Or you're not necessarily there for, to watch a bunch of stuff with someone you don't even know who they are. You're either entertained, inspired, or you're there for some education, I guess, if you're proactive, which is the people watching these things. So, boom, awesome stuff, man. Last question before I do some rapid fire questions to wrap up what's been an amazing interview today is your dad's obviously played a massive part in your life. I'm a massive fan of Matt. I love his energy. I love his passion. I feel like sometimes it can be confused upon who is the child because he's got such youthful energy. And when you mentioned at the start of the interview today that you really enjoyed just spending the 4th of July at the fireworks because your dad really loves it and you love watching him love it. It was just the roles had almost switched for that day, which was real funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he's obviously played a massive part in your life. And just for any parents that are watching or anyone that's going to grow up to be a parent, I would love to know like one key thing that Matt, your dad, has done that you see different to what other parents have done. What do you think the number one thing that he's done as you, from a parenting point of view, that's made the biggest impact on you or the biggest difference to a normal parenting style?
So I like to say there's dads, there's good dads, there's great dads, there's Hall of Fame dads, there's legends dads, and there's my dad. Like, I truly believe that I was blessed and I hit the lottery and hit the jackpot to have my dad. He's the greatest human being that I literally know. And I've met billionaires, I've met millionaires, I've met people with millions of followers. My dad still is the best person I've ever met, and I have the most respect for him. But I think here's what I would say to every single parent out there watching. This is why I think me and my dad have such a good relationship, and also we're striving together doing all this great stuff. Be the type of parent that your kids want to become, and be the type of person that you want your kids to become. So just to expound on that, be the type of person that your kids look up to, that they respect, that they're like, that's my dad, that's my mom. I like that they view you on this high pedestal and they strive to be like you whenever they're older. But also be the type of person that if your kids became identical to you and had the exact life that you had and the exact values and the exact characters, be the type of person that if they were identical and if they cloned into you, you would be cool with the life that they have. You would be glad that you raised your kids that way. That's what I would say, because so many parents, they say, do as I say, don't do as I do. But that's the worst method ever, because kids don't listen to what you say. Like parents tell their kids, you don't listen to me. Yeah, they may not be listening to you, but they're definitely listening to you. They're watching what you're doing. And I would say if you're a parent, make sure that your actions are showing more than just what you're saying. Because my dad, he teaches me 7 days of the week, and he rarely uses words. He rarely uses words. It's all through his actions. So yes, I have good manners. Yes, I hold the door for people, but it's because I see him do that. Yes, he tells me to eat healthy, but he also eats healthy. Yes, he tells me to be kind to each and every single person. Yeah, I see him be just as cool to a homeless person as he was when he met Grant Cardone, all these guys. So be the type of person that your kids want to become, and be the type of person you want your kids to become through actions.
Dude, I could not enjoy hearing you express that point more, because if there is anyone that's a living, breathing example of an amazing parent, and you equally as an amazing child, just based on not child or son to Matt, because what you've been able to do, and you support him now, so it's like you guys are both supporting each other on this journey. But I released a video about 3-4 months ago that got around 100,000 views on Facebook, and it was about parenting, and the whole message was around my dad. I would love for your dad to adopt me. If he's open to it, feel free. I'll move over into your place, and it would be a lot of fun. Because my favorite quote in the world is, "Actions speak so loudly that I can't even hear what you're saying." And such an amazing quote. And the whole video that I filmed was about the fact that parenting has got zero to do with trying to give your kids what you never got. It's got zero to do with just providing support, and everything to do with being a role model. It's about what you do, because what you do gives evidence to what's possible. If you're going through a challenge and you can't get through it, then they can't. If you can't follow your dreams, then how can you expect them to? So it's just nailed.
It.
And you said that so beautifully as well. So virtual
I can't wait to watch that video on Facebook.
Boom.
There we go. I'm definitely gonna watch that video on Facebook.
I'll tag you straight after this.
And I think I said a key point real quick. Even more important than giving your kids what they never have is equipping your kids with what you were never equipped with. And I think that's something that's important. That's pretty deep right there if you really think about it. Because we're always trying to give them things, but in reality, if you can equip them with the things that they need to go out and build their own life and do their own things, that's what it's really about.
Nailed. Knowledge bomb. Boom. Good work, Caleb. That's fucking awesome. So this has been so good so far. I'm going to rapid fire a few questions. So 10 to 30 seconds answers. If you want to elaborate on it more, feel free. But I'm just going to go through a few things. So question number one is, what do you fear most in this world?
To be honest, the number one thing that I fear is death. That's the only thing that I fear, because everything else is small. I don't sweat the small stuff, because everything is small stuff.
In contrast to death. Boom, love it, 100% agree. Number two, what daily practice do you think impacts the most on your success at the moment with your day-to-day basis, your routines, etc.?
Probably my giving. Giving to people, whether that's through content or whether that's through going out and buying a fatherless kid new shoes.
Awesome, perfect answer. I've been recently doing this thing where it's in my tasks, I want to get held accountable to by my team. 3 messages of kindness, just purely putting out there. I also did this really cool thing recently, Caleb, with this giving campaign where I just went out and wrote this epic essays worth of cards to random people, and I gave out $100 gift vouchers that were relevant to their demographic, and wrote this really nice card, and then gave it to them and walked off and kind of recorded their reaction. So it got about 100,000 views as well. I'll tag you in that one as well. It was such an amazing feeling.
I feel like I should be interviewing you. That's how we should be doing this, man. You got so much good content.
Oh,
I love
Caleb,
it.
you cheeky
Giving
bugger.
is huge. Giving is huge. When nothing is going good, do something good for somebody else. That's the quote I live by.
What I'm loving about the interview today is the fact that there are cues to success. You're a very successful guy at a young age. I'd like to consider myself very successful for my age, and I'm proud of that. Equally as you are proud of where you're at. But the same thing, the values are exactly the same. Everything from the strategies are exactly the same. So if you're watching this, guys, don't just let things skim on over. Take them on board, because you can learn from experience, and experience doesn't mean years or how old you are. Experience means how much you've done. And this guy's done more than what most people do in a lifetime at age 14. So awesome stuff, great answer. What's the most painful activity that you did endure on the journey to success?
Oh, that I didn't do?
No, just the most painful activity that you consistently endured on the journey to success that you found hardest.
Meditation. For me, I hate sitting down, but it's an important activity that I do every single day. But it's painful for me. Even more painful than hustling, than waking up at 5 a.m. is sitting down and breathing and just thinking about stuff. I want to do stuff. So meditation probably.
Do you use guided meditation to help with that?
Well, about once a week I do guided meditation. The other times I kind of do my own thing. But yeah, about once a week I do.
Respect. I definitely, if I'm doing meditation, because I do my own form of ritual in the mornings, it's gratitude filled, future pacing visualization, getting into a pump state, all meditation. When I do actual meditation, it's just nothingness and mindfulness. I use guided meditation for that exact same reason, because my mind's always going boom, boom, boom. So very similar. Who do you look up to most in this world besides your dad? So in terms of thought leaders.
Before you said that, is my dad's number one, like you said. Who I look up to the most?
And why?
Probably. I look up to a lot of different people, and I really don't want to say one, but let me give you 3 that I really look up to, because I have to.
Smart answer.
Yeah, Kevin Harrington. I really look up to Kevin. He's given me so much time. He's been so kind to me. He's one of the people that I look up to the most on this planet. just he's so down to earth and such a cool guy. The second one is Grant Cardone. I look up to Grant like crazy. I mean, I have look, you see behind me, I got no negativity allowed. That's by Grant. He signed the back of that. I have one of his shirts. Who's got my money right in front of me. Like, Grant's been so kind to me. He's kind of given me the platform that I've had. He's shared my stuff. He's done interviews with me. I look up to Grant Cardone like crazy. And, I think those are the two main people besides my dad, to be honest, that I really look up to. But, Oprah, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, there's people that aren't even known as far as the world that I really look up to. There's people who are dead, like Martin Luther King, what he was able to do. I just think that's amazing. So, but the main that are here that I'm close to is Grant Cardone and Kevin Harrington, as well as my dad.
Awesome. Great answer, man. And to kind of finish off, I got a small thing after this, but what are you most excited about in your journey at the moment? You've got this big vision. It's $1 billion. It's $100 million. It's big figures and big impact.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about now in your life that's coming up in the near future?
I'm most excited to take my last. Well, I'll go really deep and then I'll go really practical too. Like, what else I'm excited about? Okay. But I'm really excited to take my last breath and know that the next generation was literally better because I lived. Like, I'm pumped up for that last breath to be like, dude, like, I impacted literally millions. I impacted millions of people, and those millions of people impacted the entire world. Like, 7 billion people. Every single person was touched because of my life. Like, that's what I look forward to. But I also look forward to, stuff like I want to go on the Ellen show. So I look forward to doing that one day. I look forward to making $1 million this month. I look forward to having 10,000 kids in my company, Kids for Success. I look forward to having a video that gets 100 million views. Like, I look forward to all that stuff, but really knowing that this generation was impacted and impacted the next generations, that's what I look forward to, because the goal of life isn't to live forever, but it's to create something that will.
Beautiful, man. Well said. Awesome. What we've gone through today has been not only Knowledge Bomb Central, but it's been an absolute blast, man. We've had a lot of fun. Last question that I have for you, bro, before we high five and head off and keep hustling, is who would you recommend that I interview based on their story from pain to gain, on who given that we've got Grant that's coming up, someone that you really look up to? Who would you recommend?
I really do think you should interview my dad. And it's not just because he's my dad, but he has actually a great life story, like, of how everything happened. He was left, his mother left him on a doorstep whenever he was 2 years old and just gave him up. Like he has such a crazy and amazing story. I think that'd be a great interview. I'd be pumped up to watch that. He would do it too.
Would you guys be up for when I come over to St. Petersburg next, if I interview both of you guys together based on both your journeys?
I would love that. That'd be so fun.
Boomtown. Awesome, man. So thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. You're an absolute legend. You're an inspiration. If any of you guys watching today want to get in touch with you, which they will and they should, and go do that now after Caleb speaks, where can they get in touch with you? Where can they find your stuff? Where should they go now?
Well, add me on Snapchat, at Caleb Maddix 13. I was just voted in the top 8 must-follow people on Snapchat. I was voted number 2. So add me on Snapchat, and I'll make I'll make a deal for your audience. I'm coming out, like I said, 2 years ago. I wrote my book, Keys to Success for Kids. It came out. I'm writing a second edition right now, and it's absolutely, it's way better. There's 5 chapters in it, so much more content. I go deep on, how to get a mentor, what manners to use. I talk about giving. I talk about what work means. I talk about how to, practical ways to make some extra money. I talk about what to do when, something goes wrong. I go so deep on it. So I give every single person that listened to this a free copy of my book, my new book, my second edition, Keys to Success for Kids, as long as they're willing and they agree to pay the shipping. If they're willing to pay the shipping, I'll give them the book for free. So that's my deal. When is this going to go up? Do you know the date that this is going to go up?
This is going to go up on YouTube as a video in the next week, and then it's going to
perfect.
And then it's going to go up as a podcast in the next couple of months.
All right, perfect. I'll link that up for you, and then I'll send you the link.
Sounds perfect, man.
And then you can link it up in the description or wherever.
Sounds perfect, man. Thank you so much. That's an amazing deal, especially if you've got kids. Buy a few, get a few free copies while it lasts, obviously, while it lasts. Get a few free copies, because if you've got family, friends, anyone that you know that can get some inspiration from Caleb, learn how to be the best version of themselves, and then go out, thrive, and touch more lives themselves. That is a no-brainer for everyone, themselves, the people they know, and the world. So thank you so much for your time today, man. Had an absolute blast. Peace out, and look forward to meeting you over in St. Petersburg in Florida. Thanks, man. Have an awesome day.